So we all know that Manchester City have signed one of the best strikers in world football in Erling Haaland, but does this Manchester City team need him? Well, today I wanted to see what would happen with Manchester City if I gave them, instead of Erling Haaland, the brand new potential Ballon d'Or winning striker, the worst striker ever created. And unfortunately, it's me. So obviously in this simulation, I put in the worst player into Football Manager, into this Manchester City team, and I wanted to see what they would be able to achieve. So first things first, I needed a tactic, and I needed something that recreated that style of Pep Guardiola. So without any further ado, I headed on over to FM Scout, put in FM22 and Pep's name, and took a look at some of the tactics that popped up. Now RDF's one with the 5 strikers, I thought that could be interesting. I could get some goals there, but I settled for something a little bit more traditional, which I like the look of, so I hit the download button. So let's dive in game and take a look at the worst footballer ever to be in Football Manager. Right guys, here we are in game. This is the profile of the worst striker ever in Football Manager. Now, it has been said that you could put anybody into this Manchester City team and they would be able to score goals. Well, today I wanted to see if that would happen. Now, I got into the pre-game editor and I made obviously the worst player ever, as you can kind of see, and I had to give them a name. So I thought, let's base them on myself. Now, there's no vanity required here. I just didn't want to be offensive to anybody else, so I put myself in, give myself a nice little profile picture, and put myself in game. Obviously, I'm 6 foot, it's what I'm like in real life. I weigh 88 kilos. I've been a little bit generous there, especially after the old holiday weight, but we do have 1 in every single attribute in game, and also in terms of my hiddens as well. My hidden attributes, they are all as bad as they can possibly be. I'm half a star for all of the roles that we've got in game, and to be fair, if I were a professional footballer and measured on the same standards as these professional footballers, I think some of these attributes would be a teeny bit worse. So looking at me, I'm quite bad, and I do have this individual personality, which is good. Apparently I'm good at taking set pieces with free kick taking of 1 and corners of 1. Maybe this is just Football Manager showing that coach reporters aren't as accurate as you'd like to think they are. So then I'm also considered a technical player as well, which again, I'm not. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to add myself in to this downloaded tactic here, which is the FM22433 Guardiola del Magico Monta, which I will leave linked down in the description. And I like this tactic, and the main reason I like this tactic is because I'm going to play as a trequartista. I'm going to try and bring other players into the game and see what happens. I will be playing in this Manchester City team, so the team around me is going to be pretty good. So if I quick pick without restriction, the best 11 is obviously going to put Gabriel Jesus in there as the starter, but I'm going to pop myself in there. So this is going to be potentially the team for the season. Obviously no additional data updates to this Manchester City team, just the same squad that started the 2021-2022 season, but with me as the target for as the trequartista leading the line, which can only go well. So here are the 5 competitions that we are in throughout the course of the season. Obviously we do have the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and that Community Shield. So there are 5 trophies up for grabs, and potentially lots of games of football available for the worst striker in Football Manager to score in. So I'm hoping Man City go deep in all these competitions with this this plug and play tactic. I'm hoping it goes pretty well, but there is one thing I do need to do before we get underway. If we go onto the home screen, go onto my profile as the manager, we're going to click here and we're going to use the in-game editor, and we're going to say we're going to become unsackable, because this may not go according to plan. Let's simulate the whole season and see how many goals I am able to bag. So guys, whilst this is simulating, please do, if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel down below. It is completely free to do and really does help me out, get out there to as many people as humanly possible. But without any further ado, I'm going to stop waffling. We're going to get back to the video and see how many goals this elite striker was able to score. Right, so we are at the end of the season and I have opened up the competitions tab, and even with the worst striker in the world in Football Manager history, Manchester City were still able to complete a treble. Now, I know this isn't exactly the treble that most of you guys would have thought, but they have won the Premier League, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League by Liverpool, knocked out in the semi-finals of the FA Cup by Manchester United, but they did pick up the Carabao Cup and they did pick up the Community Shield. So it goes to show Manchester City are ludicrously overpowered in this year's Football Manager. Who'd have thought? But it looks like, surprise, surprise, I am not top of the goal scoring charts. We're going to go on the home screen. KDB is the top goal scorer for the club and also the highest number of assists as well. 32 goals and 12 assists for KDB. But that's not the man that we're looking at seeing. The man we're looking at seeing is me. I didn't score. The worst player in Football Manager history, the worst striker ever, didn't score. 1 goal in 60 games.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Okay. I thought I'd at least score 1. Let's have a look at my stats throughout the course of the season. So obviously I pinned myself in that as that striker for the whole course of the season, and we did simulate the whole thing. And here we are. So 1 appearance in the Community Shield, 6 starts in the Carabao Cup, 5 in the FA Cup, 38, all 38 in the Premier League. I obviously didn't get injured, and 10 in the Champions League. Now, as you can see, I only picked up 1 yellow card throughout the course of the season, so disciplinary record, pretty darn good. But 0 goals and 1 assist as a striker, really not good at all. My XG, my combined XG for 38 Premier League games is 2.76. That's so bad, isn't it? Combined XG for the course of the season is 4.23 in all competitions, which is absolutely silly. Dribbles made, I only made 1 dribble in the Champions League and 1 in the Premier League. I was feeling a bit spicy in the FA Cup where I made 2 dribbles instead. I won a couple of headers throughout the course of the season, nothing too silly there. Shots on target ratio, we'll take a look at that in a second. Headers 1, nobody really cares. Pass completion though, we are completing passes, which is kind of what you would expect in a Manchester City team. And is these clearances? Looks like we made a couple of clearances as well. We got fouled a decent amount, but our average ratings throughout the course of the season in all competitions is a lowly 6.26. So that is not very good. So let's take a look at some of these stats then. Obviously, matches won. We won 41 of the 60 games that I was involved with, which is pretty darn good. Average rating is there, the 6.26 that we've just discussed. My best rating throughout the course of the season, bearing in mind I've got a 1 for consistency, a 1 for important matches, 1 for pressure, 1 for professionalism. All of those hidden attributes that you need to consider didn't do very well there either. Only got a 6.6. The worst rating that I received all throughout the course of the season was a 5.8, obviously before I was dragged. I covered a distance of 275.9 miles, which isn't too bad, which is 5.9 miles per 90 minutes. Obviously, we scored 0 goals. Throughout the course of the whole season, in all 60 matches, we had 36 shots and only got 19% of those on target. So 7 shots on target. Disappointing that we didn't score 1 in 7, though, to be perfectly honest. Key passes and stuff. We had 1,198 passes throughout the course of the season, 85% success ratio, again, not too shabby. We are relatively decent with our passes, but it looks like we've not really been involved in the football at all. We've got 16 key passes there, which is not too bad. Some of the other stats at the bottom: shots on target 0.15, dribbles made 0.11, passes completed 21.88 per 90 minutes, and then that's pretty much it. I do want to see myself in a game, without being very vain, the worst striker in Premier League history. We had a game here against Arsenal. Looks like there were some goals. I'm trying to see goals before I would have been substituted off. Is kind of where I'm looking. Let's have a look at this Arsenal game and see what we can see here. We're going to watch, instead of the goals, we're going to watch the key highlights. I got 6.3 in this rating, 6.3 rating in this game. So it's not actually the worst that we've seen. Can it pan out? is the question. I want to see what I'm doing. What is this worst striker in Football Manager history doing here? So actually, let's turn this into 2D Classic so I can see myself. So the worst striker in football is the number 30 here. So the ball gets played forward to potentially where a striker should be, and I'm over here. So completely out of the way, but there is a goal coming up sooner rather than later. But I'm seeming lazy. I'm not pressing on the ball. They're not really doing anything. I'm applying a little bit of pressure, but as you can see, I think that's 𝘼𝙗𝙤 doing the job of me here. So it very much is Manchester City down to 10 men throughout the course of the season. So the fact that they were able to win 3 trophies, yes, I know one of them's the Community Shield. Yes, I know one of them's the Carabao Cup, but it still looks relatively like a very successful season and shows how OP this Man City team can be and how frightening they would be with Erling Haaland. We're going to skip this up a little bit. So let's watch this goal here for Manchester City. Ball gets thrown in into Kevin De Bruyne, then into Rodrigo towards 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙤. Is this the goal or is this... Yeah, Raheem Sterling scores after 4 minutes. So Arsenal are playing with the ball here. Again, naturally, as I said, not applying a dicky bird's worth of pressure to anybody. And Arsenal hit it long here towards Smith Rowe, intercepted by João Cancelo. So I assume with a little bit of tiki-taka build-up, here is Raheem Sterling ready to get on and score a goal. It really does look like 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙤 himself is basically being forced to play as the striker because the worst striker in Football Manager history is just kind of pottering around, not really doing anything. Looks like Arsenal have to lose this ball here. Out to 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙤. Back to Benjamin White. This is a lot of interchange here for a goal that I thought I was going to be seeing like now. 4:26, so it's happening now. KDB on the ball. Am I involved in the goal at all? Absolutely not. Straight over the top, in towards Sterling, who does score. Let's see what happens potentially for some of these other goals if I'm still on here. Number 30, is he on the field? No, so I've already been dragged. So it just looks like I'm aimlessly just wandering about. It seems rather silly. Let's have a look in one of these other games. There was Man City, Manchester United towards the end of the season. There's a goal here for KDB and a goal for Gabriel Jesus. So I assume I've already been dragged for this point. So let's have a look at the goal from KDB and see what I'm doing in this game. 6.4 rating for me in this. So not too shabby, guys. Keep your eyes on that. I assume I get involved. 0. Oh, I've got the ball in my feet. Let's go. Into Jack Grealish. I completed a pass. Love that. Sterling, and there's KDB. KDB there making the run that a striker probably should. So it looks like the worst striker in Football Manager history cannot prevent Manchester City from taking home titles and trophies. This begs the question, how good can Manchester City be next season with Erling Haaland, and how many goals will he score? Let me know down in the comments, and until next time, take care, guys.